Thank you for tuning in to another reading by yours truly, Luminescent here. This is for the moon in Cancer. That's going to be taking place right before we have our full moon in Leo. Let's see here. I'm just gonna take a second to pull it up. I looked at it before, but I had to stop and re-record. So basically, with the moon in Cancer, we're going to have in conjunction with the Aquarius energy, opposition to Pluto, of course. Excuse me. And Venus still transiting in the in degrees of Capricorn. It will sextile over to Taurus energy, square Chiron and Mars. So it's going to be some deep healing 111 that comes through. But, that healing is going to definitely be based on what's going on right here. So, yeah. So, I wanted, for whatever reason, me and John to go here first. So basically what I'm getting from this here, especially with the opposition to Pluto, is things are never going to be the same, like ever. And I know that keeps happening, that theme keeps coming up, but seriously, like on an emotional level, things are never going to be the same again. The new moon in Capricorn definitely let us know, like, okay, the world is kind of like free right now. A lot of restrictions, limitations that we thought we actually had, we don't really have. It's just, our mind making them up because we've been programmed to believe that we have some form of limitation or restriction in our life somewhere. Mostly dealing with the energy of Capricorn, wherever that lands in your house. You can definitely get a natal reading with me and we can figure that out and talk together. However, we got Saturn here with this Three of Swords, Saturn in Libra. So there will be a shift in consciousness, definitely with the sextile over to Mars and Uranus in Taurus, because Earth energy here too. Because with this shift, we're allowing things to just hang, let it go, so that her hands are tied behind her back and she's resting comfortably, looking at the situation differently. It's like taking a calm approach to what limitations or restrictions that we may have created in our reality that's not really there. And maybe regarding people, since Libra has to do with one-on-one personal relationships. But us taking a different approach to maybe why we are being restricted from being around others, or why we restrict ourselves from being around or having certain types of relationships. And because the Cancer energy, or the moon, it is reflective, and it has to do with the past. So maybe taking another look at the past and how it blocked us from having new relationships that would actually make us feel unrestricted or unlimited in our consciousness, and how we may have been blocking ourselves away from that. So that was the first thing that I was getting out of there. At the bottom, we have the Seven of Pentacles. This is also Saturn and Taurus energy. So Saturn and Uranus are going to square. It's growing. However, right now, once we move past this solar plexus blockage we have going on here in this current time before this video is released, we will be moving into the next step of actually seeing what are some things we could have said, or what are some things we can say now based on the resources of information we have regarding the past. Like, what are some things that we stopped ourselves from saying or revealing because we didn't want to stop the potential growth that's showing up right here is this Ten of Pentacles. And yeah, like what are some decisions that we had to make that could be limiting us from our beauty, our growth, our harmony, our peace, our ability to manifest things into our life, like this Ten of Pentacles. So we have the Prince of Wands here, which is the King of Wands in this deck, and we have the Two of Wands here. So we definitely got to make a decision, and because of the Chariot being here with this Leo from the heart, we're making the decision based on what our heart knows to be true in regards to this Ten of Pentacles here. It definitely can be related to family, since Cancer is energy that has to do with nurturing. Cancer energy is the ultimate mother, while Neptune is the grandmother energy. So we will be in a very sensitive, reflective energy type deal when the moon goes through this transit. And the irritating part of it is that Cancer and, you know, having it in conjunction with Aquarius, all those planets, the stellium in Aquarius right now, is going to force us to think about things, you know, think about how we feel about things. And, you know, is it worth you speaking up? Is it worth you sharing? Is it worth you investigating? Because if it's going to, in deciding whether or not it's going to affect, you know, your legacy, your lifestyle, your foundation that you are building or already built for yourself. And with this green here, we have to be reflecting on decisions that we're making with our heart. Are we coming from the heart? Are we coming from the seat of the soul? Or are we just making this rash decisions based off of ego and, you know, wanting to just take advantage of an opportunity that's not, you know, that looks solid but not really solid? Because we need to have some type of structure. We need to know what it is that we're trying to enterprise in our life. What are we trying to grow? The Prince of Wands is also someone who is about expanding their territory and going to, you know, new heights that they haven't been to before. So with this Virgo energy here, changes are abound. You have to be flexible in the decisions that you're making, with this being a Leo energy fixed sign. You do want to be flexible in how you build your foundation, but you have to make a decision at the same time based on what you know to be true. How are you identifying with yourself, and where is that leading you? Are you being led with your heart? Are you able to feel that the decision that you're making is in facts, the one that is best for you? Or are you waiting around for other people to make that decision for you? You know, Virgo has a tendency to be insecure because of overanalyzing situations that kind of is like a analysis paralysis type deal. So when we get out of analysis paralysis, what is the next choice? What's the next decision you need to make? And don't procrastinate either, because, you know, time is ticking. 5 years is 5 years no matter what's going on. So make the best of that 5 years, or the next 6 years. We have this Uranus and Taurus energy. So with that being said, this is again why we need to make sure that we allow the shift in consciousness to happen without restricting it, so we get to know ourselves on a deeper level and figure out what the new beginning is that we're looking to start. And it just starts with one step. You know, it only starts with one step, just taking one step. We don't have to have everything like together or perfect the way that we may think we do. We do want to have like a vision for ourselves. We do want to know who we are and what we want in life, and, you know, and see that picture in our mind. But every decision we make may be based off of this this vision, but there are going to be changes that's going to happen within that, you know, mission, our missions, that's going to have us in this position where we just, you know, with the Saturn energy is just, you know, not trying to force anything to happen, just allowing it to happen, allowing yourself to see where, you know, you could have hurt yourself or hurt others, and how that could, can, or have affected you and someone else, or just how you see yourself. Libra energy, reflective, of course. But this is mental. This is mental as well, but this is Earth is feminine mentality, and air is masculine mentality. And it doesn't have to be literal, you know, based on sex. But it is the energy we all have. Both. We have both of these. So allowing yourself to see the balance and how you've blocked yourself from, you know, being able to make balanced decisions that are harmonious to you, and how the lesson you learned in that from allowing yourself to change your consciousness, or reconnect with your subconscious rather, so that your consciousness becomes elevated. Therefore, when you see the new opportunity that comes from learning and listening, that you take it. So here we got the Two of Wands again, where we're, you know, we may have sifted, you know, this is like running through the field, trying to find the right, you know, fit, the right shoe, the right sauce, the right ingredient to go into this melting pot, and then, you know, getting a taste and see if it works or not. And it's like, okay, well, that didn't work out, but there's something else that I can do to not save the situation, but to make it better, because the decisions or lessons that you learned in the past made you better. It didn't make anything worse. It only made you better. So learning to be okay with accepting that as a fact or as a truth moving forward. And it doesn't justify, you know, people doing you wrong. You know, we are only responsible individually for what actions we take. We're not responsible for what other people do. We're also responsible for how we perceive the situation as well, and how we choose to let it affect us moving forward. You can allow yourself to drag the pain and hurt from the past into your new beginning, or you can learn to cut it off and let it go, and change how the way you see it as more of a benefit, so that you can continue to receive the benefits that came from that. If you look at a situation, present, past, and all you see is negativity, hurt, and pain from it, you're dragging that into the new beginning, only to reset and restart the same thing all over, the process all over again. And you have to learn something else. Now, it could be the exact same thing, or it could be the same thing in an elevated way or perception, because, you know, the number 9 and 6 as well, but the number 9, the universal number, we're going in a spiral. Okay, so we will be repeating things, but it's about whether you know, in the repeat, it's not going to be the exact same lesson. It's just going to be, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be the same test, but in a higher grade. That's what this is. And if you're still repeating the same test in the same grade, then you're not a failure. Number one, you're not a failure, but you need to get a deeper understanding, a spiritual understanding of what it is that, you know, your soul is trying to get you to listen to. What are you being blocked from, or what are you being restricted from? If you can isolate that to this one thing and give it a little focus, look at the reality of the situation in a clearer perspective, where you're not forcing yourself to mold it into anything, just letting it be what it is and accepting it as, again, a benefit to you, then the ability to make decisions based off of that will be way easier. You won't have to procrastinate, because now that you've allowed the whatever boundary that you had, or shield you had, or filter you had. Really, it's a filter. Going from Pisces to Aries, there are filters that we have been instilled with from previous programming, from our environment, TV, music, whatever, that we had to get rid of in order to see things the way that we really need to see it, in order to have the most positive effect in coming into the most authentic version of ourselves. So with this Two of Wands, we have the Seven of Swords. So we're definitely finding out information that is having us make a decision to go off on our path. Because this is like not knowing how you feel about something, or realizing it was something that you were missing. Like here, you go from the 3 to the 7 of Swords. 3 and 7 makes 10. So there's some type of mental completion when it comes from how you are doing in one-on-one personal relationships with people, to having an overstanding about how it affected you personally. And you don't have to share that with other people. This is Aquarius energy. You don't have to share that with other people. It may come up more during the Aquarius new moon, of course, where you make a decision to actually leave something behind and go off into your designated path, or your designated journey that your soul has been working towards this whole time. But again, Moon in Cancer energy, it will make us feel, we may have to deal with things that make us feel alone, especially with our opposition to Capricorn and Cancer, again, being a reflective energy. The moon is a reflector. It's reflective. So it's only showing you what's already there, and then you have to be in control of how you perceive it and not let it get the best of you, or run you lunatic. You can't allow it to make you a lunatic, because some things, again, Saturn here, you just have to shut it down. You realize something about, a series of relationships that you had in the past, and how they all kind of lined up to one main storyline about yourself, and making it a positive one. So that from this point on, when you make a decision, you're coming from a place of, one, knowing what makes you different. 2, leaving behind all the, gossip or false limitations that other people, groups of people, people that you probably don't even know, placed upon you, so that you can go and, be in harmony, have balance within yourself. Because you are responsible for not only your emotional intelligence, but how you feel about your life, how you feel. There are 2 sixes here. So if you're willing to make the right decision, if you have, because you're ready to decide here, you got the Two of Wands is here twice, so there's definitely a decision being made, but you want to make sure that you're making the right decision, because there is a soul purpose here. There's a purpose to what's been going on this whole time, and you don't want to miss out on it because you're still looping in your head about why you couldn't do it before, or what has stopped you before. It doesn't matter what stopped you before. It's about what you learned about that restriction. Why was it restricted to you? What were you not ready to do? Where were you not ready? Where were you not ready to go? What responsibilities were you not ready to have? And how did that affect the way that you thought about yourself, or what you knew about yourself? And now that you have clarity on that, You take ownership and responsibility of how you blocked yourself from making choices and decisions that was the best for you. And now you can throw away everything that's no longer serving you because you already know what your destiny is. And it doesn't matter what everyone else says, Aquarius and Pisces energy. That was definitely more collective. You're past the boundary, Saturn, Capricorn energy. You're past the boundary point. Now this is about what you know to be true. Not just for you, but for everybody. Everybody has their own path and decisions to make in life. But Aquarius is about the individual within the sea. And Pisces is understanding how that kind of works in itself. Balancing the fact that you're the individual within the sea of other people and not allowing yourself to be so boundless that you become the environment. You have to maintain your head and heart connection. You have to maintain that. It doesn't mean you can't be around people and meet people who are of your soul tribe, but it does mean that it's time for you to cut off and let go of people who you know never doesn't have your best interest at heart or doesn't understand. They don't have the capacity to understand you on a spiritual level that only you know yourself to be. And being okay with that as well. Okay, so let's get some advice here. So we have visualize, affirm, manifest, return to nature, and resolution and healing. So let's make some resolves here. We got Fortune and the Four of Wands. Yeah, you're showing up. If this can definitely be relationship wise or work related with the Eight of Pentacles. This is about working on something diligently. But it's like you have to decide, you have to make a resolution that you're going to do something, and that's going to automatically heal when you make a decision. Making decisions is important, but it's not hard to do unless you are not certain of yourself. Aries energy here, Leo energy here. So once you gain clarity on your overall purpose and goal, the fortune starts to spin, like the wheel starts to turn, the table starts to turn in your favor, because you're going back to nature, of course. Things are returning in your favor. You're going where you need to be. And because you showed up and you made a choice to, visualize, affirm, and manifest whatever it is that you want, and you're willing to give up anything and everything in order to have that manifestation, you're being met. You're being met. You brought your two, they bring their two. You're being met. So it will work. All the hard work that you put into, working with someone or even just working on yourself, it will work out. It will work out. Things will come together. And here's the King of Wands again. You did it. Everything worked out. And some people might feel left out in the cold, that they didn't know what was going on with you. They didn't know that you were doing this. They didn't know that you felt this way. They didn't know. They weren't paying attention to what type of environments you were in or what you went through that made you pause. Number one, all these pentacles. There are some things that made you pause and think like, wait a minute. Some people just not going to understand why you chose to give up on doing something that was going to make you feel like you weren't going anywhere, like you were at a standstill. But, justice will be served. Okay? Justice will be served. Justice will be served. You have to do the right thing. You have to do the right thing regardless of what everyone else says or thinks. You have to do the right thing for you. Return to nature. Do what's right. Because you did it, and you'll see it pay off. You'll see the payoff. You'll see it pay off. things might come on or come out a little aggressive, but there is some form of sweetness and compassion and consideration involved. Okay. So that concludes this reading in Cancer. Like I said, I feel like there's going to be a big emotional change that, you know, we're not going to be able to come back from. It's just, you're just going to have to learn how to move forward. And it's going to be a lesson that maybe you haven't had to learn before, but it's going to teach you, you know, it's going to teach you something. Cancer energy about the people who you surround yourself by. Okay? Peace.